It's like, wow, I'm making these changes to put myself in a position to advance, even if that means right now I'm not relapsing, but what's that other word? I'm going backwards. Even if that means, you know, being pulled back or being at a halt. Things are not quite moving, but things are kind of like breaking down and breaking apart so that a new foundation can be built. And I was just coming to terms with how I felt about it. Like, wow, this is uncomfortable. This is for real. And it's like, it's really just stagnant right now. But not because I'm not doing anything, but because, I've set things into motion and it's kind of just waiting for like the algorithm of life to kind of, to kind of like catch up or meet up with my intentions, basically, or align with my intentions, I should say. And so it's kind of just like, like my plant, every day you water them, you seed them, you plant your intentions, and you just have to give it that time and that space to grow inevitably. You don't really have a choice. So kind of like a plant, it's just showing me that. But I fell down emotionally and I'm just like, wow, like I'm really doing this. This is in my hands. I have to be the change that I want to see. This is different. No one's doing this. No one's done this. And I'm doing it. And I'm determined. But I'm also like, I have times like this where it's just kind of like, I'm really in it. And so, I just bounced back. I just came to my aid. I took the necessary time that I kind of felt like I needed to bounce back. I was just telling myself, like, you're in the kitchen of life. Bounce back, pivot. So I'm like, you know, I strongly dislike not having access to this and not being able to do that and doing this. And, at least when I was there, I knew what it was. I knew what to expect. I could do the math. And I was like, but this is different. So I was basically telling myself, like, I mean, who wouldn't feel the way you feel right now, and how I was entitled to feel everything that I was feeling. And it's totally understandable. Like, this is new. This is up in the air. This is not for certain. It's not indefinite just yet. Like you said, at least, when you were in this space, you knew what to expect. You knew how much was what. You knew when to go and report and do this and do that. There was kind of like a safety net. This is kind of like jumping and diving in the crowd. This is kind of like crowd surfing versus the safety net. And you took the harnesses off, you took the safety net off, and you kind of, now you're out here, or now you're out there. So, of course, these emotions will arise. These feelings are going to arise, and they are all valid, is basically what I was telling myself. But just, get your head back in the game. How can you pivot in the kitchen of life? How can you pivot? How can you modify? How can you bounce back? And I basically I talked about making breakfast with 3 ingredients. I made dinner with literally 5 essential ingredients. I'm going to make something. I'm going to put my heart into it. I'm going to release these negative emotions, and I'm going to bounce back and put some positivity into my being. So when I go in there and I start cooking, it's going to be a heartfelt meal. I got this. Just today's work. Don't worry about tomorrow. We're right here. We're right now. What do we have that we can work with? And I made a beautiful dinner with 5 ingredients, and I'm really proud of myself. And 5 ingredients fed 5 heads is what I was. 5 ingredients fed 5 heads, but I was more proud at the pivot. I was more proud of the bounce back. I was more proud of the way, I got knocked down, but I took a seat in my corner and I got back up, ready to just finish the day. Not the world, not to tackle the world, not to tackle the rest, not to tackle the rest of the world or life or anything, but to tackle the rest of the day. And that's it. Just put a beautiful finishing touch on the day, and that is it. because it'd be a day's work. When I got done and I sat in the bed and it took like the final bites, sip my water, I was like, wow, what a day's work. And we just had dessert. I had an ice cream cone, a waffle ice cream cone with some caramels. So it was a day's work. And that's my new a lot. Like, that's my new, because it's like energetically and spiritually, I know kind of like shit comes up. I don't think people act like, when you're so spiritually tapped in, the shit can feel physical. It can feel so physical when you're spiritually tapped in. And so it just kind of felt like, that's like the universe's way of, cause understand that when I say shit like having a little or a lot and being able to remain even tempered, they don't can play. I want to curse so much right now. They don't effing play. When I say, from my lips to God's ears, I don't know if people, I don't be playing when I say stuff like that. From my lips to God's ears, when I say, and I want to be able to, have a little or a lot, with a little or a lot, being able to remain even tempered. And emotionally falling down today because I felt like I lacked. And then I turned 5 ingredients into a dinner that fed 5 heads. And it was delicious. Don't play with me. I'm from the South. We got a motherfucking pantry full of seasonings, a pantry full of, we gonna make something. Took some humble ass ingredients and made dinner for 5. Stop playing with me. A little or a lot, remaining even tempered. It's okay to fall down. It's okay to need a minute. It's okay to just feel like you lack. You have to go through those motions. Those emotions are valid. You're programmed to feel them for a reason, but it's all about the bounce back. How will you pivot? How will you bounce back and deliver a beautiful service? How will you beautifully serve? How will you get yourself out of the funk of telling yourself that you lack and then turn it into abundance with 5 ingredients? From my lips to God's ears, little or a lot, remaining even tempered. And I did that. And that was so spiritual. Don't nobody know that I did that. They just know that I went in the kitchen and I went to whipping. That's all they know. Is that I went in the kitchen and cooked. Don't nobody know the spiritual aspect of it. The fact that I cried in my room and then I cried outside and I'm like, I got this. It's more than just the physical. When you're so tapped into the spiritual, it's like, bro, it was more than dinner. It was really like, I know what I'm doing. I know the sacrifice behind the decision that I made, that everybody has to make and that I myself have to make. But I believe in this journey. I believe in my decision to stand firm and the decision to move forward, taking that first step and letting that other foot follow. I'm standing firm and blazing my trail, carving my path and living that reality that I see for myself. But it's sometimes I forget about the physical. Sometimes I forget that I'm even navigating physically. I think that's a little bit weird, and I think they got something for that too. But I sometimes I forget that I'm physically navigating because I be so tapped into my spiritual. How can I serve my spirit? How can I free my spirit? How can I honor my spirit? I'm so tapped into who I am, and I'm so tapped into who I am, my being, and who I am to become, but also who I am. And I'm so tapped into my evolution. I be so into the spiritual that I like, I was like, I don't know if I was simultaneously in them both, but it felt like merged together, my spiritual and my physical. I could not tell them apart today. Now that I think about it, I could not tell them apart today. But if I post this, you heard me when I said, with a little or a lot, remaining even tempered. That doesn't mean that you won't get upset, that you won't get knocked down, that you won't have a down day or a down moment. It is not to say that you won't have a downfall, but you will. You most definitely will. You absolutely will. It's a part of the process. But get back up, pivoting, keeping going, and like I said, delivering a beautiful service at the end of the night. The only thing that you will be remembered for is your service. Was it flawless? Was it beautiful? Was it well executed? They don't know that you cut your finger, and I'm using like, cooking shows analogies because that's just my thing. But they don't know that you cut your finger on the cutting board in the kitchen. What they remember was if that food was good or not. Did you deliver a beautiful service? Was your execution flawless? Was your team on point? Were you on point? Were you in uniform? Did you show up? Did you okay? Because the cuts and scrapes and burns is the sacrifice being made on the back end that nobody sees. But that deliverance, how can you bounce back and deliver a flawless execution? A beautiful service. You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I was learning, and I got to execute that in my waking life, in my real physical life. But man, it felt so simultaneous at the same time. It felt so merged and aligned together, my physical and my spiritual. I'm like, wow, I just did that today. And I really sat back and was like, a day's work. I'm not trying to take on too much at a time. I don't need to, because it's 24 hours in a day. You got to process what the happened for the first 12. You got to give yourself space. You must give yourself time. Don't be trying to rush through it and pile. I done went through a series and a phase of piling back to back on my plate. That's not digestible. That's not digestible when you keep piling stuff on your plate. That's not going to be digestible. You're going to be backed up, and you're going to have to eventually release all of that. So I keep a digestible amount on my plate. I give myself time, and I give myself space, and I give myself a day's work. I'm only I only need what I need for the day. Just like with those 5 ingredients. I wanted so much more, and I deserve so much more. I wanted so much more. But what am I going to do when I feel like I only have a little? Make a lot. 5 ingredients, 5 heads. Make it a lot. Even if I feel like I lack, how can I bounce back and deliver a flawless service? So flawless, it feels like abundance. It feeds the peers. It feeds your friends and your family and your loved ones. You see what I'm saying? You can use any analogy, whatever works for your life. But it's like, wow, like, it be for real. It be for real. Because when I speak on it now, I be like, Ease. When Ease speaks on it, it's like, I get it. That don't always be rainbows and gold, but it be shit that serve my highest good. Understand that it's like she speak it and it's saying shit my way that evolves me as a being. And I just hope that people, I just hope that we are understanding this. I hope that you're understanding this, but because that's how it is for me. When she say something like that, I'm never upset. But I be like, girl, cause like I be like, Ease. She be like, I'm trying to give it a prime example, but that's the only one. When I speak stuff like with a little or a lot, and I told y'all the story and everything. I was like, I saw it in this video with the man that go out in his tribe in like Africa somewhere. And this tribe, they go out on a boat and they have to manually go out like and get with the big ass nets and catch all the fish. She was like, whether we get a little or a lot, we remain even tempered. I wanted to be that humble. East wanted me, I should say, to have a better attitude. And I heard another dude. Okay, here's another example. I heard another dude said on a show I was watching, cooking shows are my thing. He said, I'm teaching my kids in life, you win some and you lose some. And I'm teaching my kids that you need to be able to do both. It's like when East hears shit like that, she'd be like, oh, yep, I want that for you. I want that for you. In life, you're going to win, and in life, you're going to lose. So be able to do both. When she speaks that she wants that for me, from her lips to God's ears, I kid you not, a real life scenario pops up like that. And I am tested on it. I kid you not. I don't know what this girl, when East just so like it, she said, oh yeah, and she goes off too. I'm talking about she write it off with her. I'm talking about she be writing checks, and I have to go and cash it. She be writing checks and I literally have to go cash them. Like, literally. She write them checks and I cash them. And once I start to recognize that and kind of like realize that, I'm like, wow, like, it just makes me want to show up. It makes me want to show up because it's not like it doesn't serve my greatest and highest good. But it just recognize that when you, like how words are powerful, intentions are powerful. So when I say things like that, when she say things like that, when you speak things like that on your life, something is hearing you. There's an energy that's hearing you. There's a force that's deliberately hearing you in your deliberate request. So, I was able to bounce back and pivot, and I was able to experience it simultaneously. Like, see what I'm doing for you. See what I'm speaking onto your life. See what I'm giving you. See what I'm gifting you. See what I'm implementing into your life. And it's kind of like that. Because I don't want to say message like I'm some sort of prophet or nothing. I'm really just lifing. For me, I'm just lifing and looking every day to evolve myself as a being. So it just kind of touched on what I talked about. No, kind of touched on what I talked about when I was like, what did I say? I just lost it. When I was like, I don't know. I forgot. I remember. But when what? Okay, I gotta go back. Wait, I lost it. Oh yeah, I got it. See what I'm gifting you. See what I'm implementing on your life. And it was this sense of like when I picked it up, like there's this wisdom that's being instilled in us. There's this knowledge. There's this gift. And it is a gift being instilled in us. And we got to be open to receiving it. We got to sit still enough to be able to see what's going on, to be able to decipher, like crack the code or decipher the messages and get the point of what this time period is doing for us. If don't feel like you should be doing a lot, don't do a lot. Do enough where it's digestible. Do enough where you can get the point, where it can go in and come out, where it can come up and come out. You got to give it enough. You got to give it the rightful time and space to process. But that's really how my day went, and it's just awesome to be able to have sat back and looked at it like that. Like it was real deal, like my physical and my spiritual, like an intention that you spoke on me or spoke for me. I got like another real life scenario in just my regular day-to-day life, and it was like my spiritual and my physical aligned. I don't know who on earth, because I see it a lot where people make it seem like it's so magical and the pineal gland gonna do this and the brain waves gonna do that, and I'm having some of the most I'm like having some of the most beautiful epiphanies in my life, and I'm having spaghetti. Like, it's beautiful, it's happening, it's magical, it's powerful, but it's not this euphoric psychedelic experience. And this is for those that may be feeling like that's what it need to be in order to experience some sort of prophetic change in your life. No, it's not. Or to experience evolution, to be evolving as a human being, you need to feel like this euphoric experience. Not at all. When you're, lifing and evolving as a human being, it's small things and small changes and small scenarios that leads to these massive shifts and discoveries and epiphanies in your life, and they are absolutely valid. Absolutely valid. They're gonna fit according to your personal life. They're gonna fit according to your script. And knowing that there's an energy, there's a higher power that knows exactly what you need. And it might not be those type of euphoric, off the wall ass experiences. It might be something that how to decipher, like, wow, that's really for me. And it might be a sign, a signal, or synchronicity that's perfect for you, that's small enough, but what it is, that's intimate or intricate, that what it is, personal enough that exactly what it is for you. And so that's just really all I had to say. A bit of a long message, but Your girl is tired, and I'm just about to put my baby to sleep because it was definitely a day's work. But thank you so very much for tuning in, and I will talk to you soon, my love. Bye now.